Hey, in this video, we're going to talk about some things to look for when buying a bed to keep in your room for your baby. Now, in the last video, we talked about how to keep your baby safe during sleep. And we talked about how babies need to sleep with an adult in their room for the first year of life. Now, that's called room sharing. Babies need to sleep alone on their back and in their own crib. So we don't want them sleeping in a bed with an adult. That's called bed sharing. But we do want them to sleep in a room. That's called room sharing. So how do you pick out a bed for your baby? So you usually get a smaller bed for your baby. How do you choose that? I've been to the baby stores just like you, and I know how complicated it is. So let's see if we can make this a little bit easier for you. So you want to get a bed for your baby that's called either a crib, a bassinet, or a play yard. A play yard would be like a pack and play, something like that. If it's not called one of those three things, then it is not approved by the Child Product Safety Commission. If it's called a rocker or if it's called a sleeper, it is not an approved bed for your baby. And I want you to keep that in mind because there are some very, very popular baby beds that are not approved and are not safe. Now, you want to keep in mind that whatever type bed that you get for your baby needs to be following those ABCs of sleep. So when you're looking at it, your baby needs to be sleeping flat on a firm surface. And if you can keep those guidelines in place, alone on his back and in his own bed, then you can kind of help to figure that out. Just because something's sold in a baby store doesn't mean that it's approved or that it's safe for sleep. There are a lot of products that will kind of get around those guidelines, and if you look at them really close, it might say, don't let your baby sleep in this, even though it looks like a crib, okay? So keep that in mind. The other thing that I want you to look at when you're looking for one of these beds is that if it keeps your baby in an inclined position, inclined meaning like up at an angle, it is not safe for sleep. And this is really important because some of the most popular ones of these baby beds keep your baby inclined. Now, why is that not safe? When babies stay in an inclined position, especially little babies, but this can be at any age, their head can drop down like this. And you'll see that. It's not safe for your baby to sleep in your car seat either. And it's not safe for a baby to sleep in a swing. And those are some of those places where babies' heads will drop. But these inclined sleepers do the same thing. So I'm going to show you this. So if you have a baby that's laying flat, their airway stays open. But if you have a baby that's sleeping up in an inclined position, their neck can drop down and it can cut off their airway. And that's very dangerous, and they can stop breathing during their sleep. And this is especially true with little babies who are premature or very young babies who haven't gotten a lot of neck control yet, and their head will drop down like this and it'll cut off their airway. Now, let me tell you something really important. A sleeping baby and a baby who's not breathing look exactly the same. And so you can be sitting right next to your baby and not realize that they've stopped breathing. So you don't want an inclined sleeper, and you don't want a baby sleeping in their car seat. You don't want a baby sleeping in their swing. Even though they like those things and they sleep well in them, they can stop breathing at a moment's notice. They're very popular, and a lot of your friends will say, oh, my baby sleeps really well in this. And they do until they stop breathing. So don't get it. Don't even get it to keep your baby entertained in, because your baby can fall asleep in it and then you'll have to get your baby out to put them to sleep. So your baby needs to sleep flat. It's very important. Now, a lot of times people will say, well, my baby has reflux and they need to sleep sitting up at an angle. Studies show that babies with reflux do not need to sleep sitting upright. And you need to talk to your pediatrician or your gastroenterologist about that. Now, what else do you need to look for? Other things that are not approved are beds that attach to your bed. That's called a co-sleeper. These are popular as well, but they are not approved by the Child Product Safety Commission, and they are not recommended by the American Academy of Pediatrics. You want a bed that's close to your bed, but not attached to your bed. There are also some types of beds that go inside your bed. They may have 4 little walls that keep you from rolling over on the baby. None of these are approved or safe for sleep. So you want the baby in their own separate bed. Let's just recap that you want your baby sleeping on their back on a firm surface, a flat surface, in a bed, a crib, a bassinet, or a play yard. If it's called a sleeper or a rocker, if it's a co-sleeper, or if it goes inside your bed, those are not approved. I hope this has been helpful for you. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them. You can put them in the comments below. I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.